All right, update on the freaking Porsche. Everything I've done has not really helped. So I have a new DME that's arriving tomorrow. That seems to be what we're waiting on here. Interior out, I've got some carpet cleaning to do. For real, kind of just want to burn it, but we're going to keep it for now. Yeah, so new DME's coming. I'm really hoping, because it doesn't make any sense. I installed new throttle position sensor. It ohms out at the wiring harness, but while this is idling, it doesn't change if I have that plugged in or unplugged, and it should. But it's like it doesn't read it at all. So it's got to be the DME. We'll find out tomorrow, because I've got allegedly a good one coming, and yeah, we'll give her a whirl. In even better news, while I had this idling the other day, I started hearing a massive metal clinking going on back here. I thought it was a valve, and I was like, what the hell? So shut her down, rolled it over to top dead center, checked all the marks, got underneath. I had painted a mark down there, pulled the spark plug out. It was on the compression stroke. And I'm top dead center, perfectly in time, according to the marks. So I was like, how did I drop a valve? I scoped all of the plug cylinders. It doesn't look like I dropped a valve at all. No idea. Fired it back up, same noise, clink, 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 clink. Got under the car, could hear it way back here. So yeah, unfortunately, freaking flywheel damper. I got in there with the camera, and it is screwed. It's completely shredded. That was super disappointing. And really didn't want to have to deal with that on top of everything else. But here we are. So what I'm going to do is I have a flywheel, pressure plate, and clutch coming, and I am going to just throw in a static clutch. I don't have access to a manual transmission. I'm not looking to put in the linkage and all that shit right now. This transmission works. I'm not building a race car. I'm just going to drive it. So I'm going to put in a static clutch setup. So the clutch is just always going to be engaged, and that'll spin the torque tube. So don't care. That's just how it's going to be. Yeah, I'm redoing. This all came out of these two tracks. I'm cleaning all the rust out of them, getting them greased up. They move okay now. The driver's side, I got them completely clean. They slide perfectly, re-greased them. And I got these seat covers, technically. They're pretty decent vinyl quality, but sick. Glad I did that on camera. So that's pretty cool. It'll clean off. Okay. But rather than install them just by slipping them over and doing the straps or whatever, I pulled apart all the seats, and I pulled this shit really tight. This is unfortunately not for, it's for a later car that's got the things up here. This is an early car, so I had to modify these. I just cut them in. I'm missing the plastic surround on that side, but you can see it on this one. Turned out okay. I put all the hardware over it. I took the guide rails off and connected everything down here. I mean, it is definitely a seat cover. There's the old one, but it's 150 bucks, and they honestly look pretty good. So I'm just gonna go with that for now. Don't care, maybe down the road I'll recover them with actual leather, but didn't feel like dropping $1,000 for the leather right now. I'm also gonna paint this car myself. I'm gonna just completely do all the body work except for here, and I'm gonna paint the whole car, even with this damage here, and then I'm going to take it into a shop, and I'm going to have them just fix this area here. So probably just gonna stick with the guards red, even though that's the original color. I don't know, Senate red, something. I don't hate it, but I don't know, this red's growing on me. This is a shitty paint job, but whatever. And I have no idea why that happened. Still don't. Doesn't make any sense. There's no burn hole or anything underneath. There's no fire that I could see. So not sure why that occurred, but it did. So I'm gonna fix that. What else? Yeah, so for right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop under here. I'm gonna pull the exhaust off. That should only take me about 15 minutes, honestly, because I've had it off recently, so it's really not gonna take me that long at all. And then I'm gonna start removing the rear transmission. This should go easier for me because it is an automatic, and I don't have to worry about the shift linkage or anything like that. It's just a cable I gotta pop off, so not a huge deal. Drop the transmission. I'm actually gonna probably pull it all the way out, and yeah, I'm gonna pull it all the way out, and then probably clean it up and pull the torque tube out. I've got a new rear main seal, so that is getting done. I was just gonna put a heavier weight oil in it and see if it sealed itself, but I guess we're gonna do it the right way. I got a new pilot bearing, so I'm gonna put that in. What else? But for this weekend, because I don't get the clutch assembly until like Monday, so I'm just gonna do all the prep work so that when it arrives, I can put it in and then start closing her all down. And I'm really hoping tomorrow that DME arrives and I throw it in and life's good. But we shall see. Maybe there will be a quick video tomorrow night explaining how that didn't work or did work, depending. Hopefully, I'm really hoping it is the issue because I'm kind of scratching my head at this point. And everyone else just seems to think I need to clean fuses, but I have done that. I've cleaned fuses. I've replaced relays. I have completely gone through the electrical on this, and the ground points and everything look really good. So for now, we're gonna get under the car. I did get that little 3D printed cup holder thing to replace the ashtray. It was pretty gnarly. I don't smoke, so I thought that was better use. I think it's supposed to be mounted underneath it, but I just dropped it in, sits in there. So I don't hate it. Somewhere to put my Celsius or whatever. But yeah, we're gonna give this carpet a good scrub. If not, they have carpet kits on eBay for like 500 bucks, and I might just grab one of those. But yeah, this is gonna be a big project. It says 16 hours, but they only talk about doing manuals. So this is an automatic. I'm gonna do this one faster, or it'll probably take me 40 hours, but we'll see. All right, for my 7 followers, later. All right, so far we have finally removed the automatic transaxle. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. I'm not even 100% sure what grease was able to get up here, but it did. Torque converter. CV axles are leaking grease, but I don't care. And there she is, torque tube. We're gonna pull that out tomorrow. And then hopefully get to the bell housing. So after that's done, I got the pressure plate today. Cleaned it up a bit, waiting on the clutch. And I'm just doing not the spring-loaded clutch, but the one with the just the rubber damper. And then the flywheel's coming as well. This was supposed to arrive on Monday, and it came today, so that's pretty cool. The other stuff said it was going to arrive on Monday as well. And so we'll see if it does get here, but this is going to fix that problem, and I'm pretty excited to take a video of what that disc looks like, because on my camera it looks just like a murder scene in there. Anyways, later. Okay, so this is days later. Still not done. Been waiting on a flywheel to get here, so I've got the pressure plate, clutch. I don't need the pull-out bearing. I've got a new pilot bearing to go in. I've got a new rear main seal that I'm going to do while I'm in here. I've got the exhaust pulled out. I've got the transaxle removed. And honestly, the automatic was a pain in the ass because you got to pull out these two. These two lines are behind the mount, which is super annoying to get to this one here. The transmission coolant line. So it leaked all over the place. It's really cool, fun. I got a used 26 gallon compressor that I'm going to redo. It runs fine, works fine, but I'm going to put on a new pressure regulator, drying system, and filter, new silencer, so that I can paint this car, because I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to take it somewhere when it's running and get this fixed. But other than that, I'm just going to do the work myself. This is the original color. It's called wine red. I don't like it. In looking at it more, it really looks like, it does look like Merlot. So I'm going to go with Guards Red, which is, this is kind of like a weird version of it. It's not a great version. I'm going to do a base and then a clear coat. But I still have to get the rest of the torque tube out. I have everything removed. I've got one. I got to get the exhaust pulled off because it had been cut off anyway. The O2 sensor's locked up in there. But all this foam came out. I've got all the bolts for the bell housing out. I have everything disconnected. The torque tube slid out about 1/4 of an inch, but that damper is locking it into the bell housing. So I've got everything pulled. Freaking reference and speed sensors. The only thing I have to do is there's a group of ground wires here that's holding the bell housing on. And then once that comes out, I should be able to rotate the torque tube so I can pull it back far enough. And then there's like a circlip on the back of the dampener that holds it to the torque tube. Why? I actually don't know why, but it's specific to automatics, so pretty stupid. They did not really design any of this with future maintenance in mind. I mean, it is literally, must have been pre-assembled and then dropped in the car. Is kind of how it feels, because it is impossible to get at some of these bolts. Not impossible, but pretty big pain in the ass. Anyway, to make my life a little easier, I did get a quickjack here because the wife came out and she felt like I was going to die under there. Plus, this thing's like an inch above my face when I'm under it, so this should make life a little easier because it's got like a 26-inch lift radius and it's rated for 7,000 pounds. So, gonna get this unpackaged and put it together now. The quickjack's all set up. I am going to get this set up under there. This is gonna lift this car significantly higher, and I feel like it's just a safer platform than 6 jack stands all over the place. Still gonna keep some jack stands underneath, but hang on a second here. Poor shit on TV. Anyways, still gonna keep a couple jack stands underneath, some points that are out of the way, just in case anything happens. It's better to have a backup plan. All right, sick. Okay, took a little bit of a break from getting the torque tube out. I've got just something's holding up the bell housing. And it was starting to make me angry, so I was like, I need to switch to a different project for a minute and just kind of decompress from that, and then hopefully tomorrow or something I'll get under there and can get that bell housing off, because once the bell housing's off, everything else should be smooth. There's a C-clip that holds the end of the torque tube to the damper plate. I don't know why they decided that was necessary. The torque tube doesn't really have anywhere to slide to, and it's bolted to the bell housing, but they did. So unfortunately, that I can't get to it, so I can't slide the torque tube back very far, and the bell housing seems to be caught up on just transmission coolant lines and heater core hoses and just everything that could be behind it has been successfully located back there by Porsche. So today, because I have a couple minutes, I'm gonna get out a steamer and see if I can't clean this carpet up some. Obviously the sunroof was leaking some. It's really just that bad on this side. So maybe a window seal was down, or I don't know. Not really a whole lot of rust. I did break off one bolt getting the seat out. So I'll just have to drill that out and put a different bolt in, but I don't really care. Other than that, yeah, we're gonna give this Bissell carpet steamer cleaner thing a whirl. See if it was worth the investment. Probably, but we'll see. All right, pretty big progress here. So I was able to get the snap ring off and pull the washer off. Now this damper here is just still stuck to the shaft. So I'm letting it soak in some PB Blaster. We're gonna hope for the best, but we are real close to getting this thing off of here finally. All right, we got big progress here. Torque tube dropped, bearing feels okay. If it wasn't, don't care. But it feels pretty good. I can't believe I got it off. It's insanity. Rear main seal's definitely leaking quite a bit. We're gonna address that and change out this pilot bearing. The exhaust was cut. I broke off pretty much every bolt getting it off, and that guy, one bolt is holding this on. I've heated it up, I've bashed it with a mallet. I don't know, it is a part of itself now. It is one. So I got to figure out a way to get that off. Luckily I have another coupling tube here. Definitely broke the $180 O2 sensor. That sucks, but there's another one on the other pipe that I have. So I'm going to just go ahead and reuse that, because that's what we do with Porsches. What a nightmare. This was like a 4.5, 5-day project to get to this point. It says 16-hour on the tech manual. I didn't get a lift until like day 4. It's helped immensely. This quickjack system here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I mean, the amount of clearance, I still have some jack stands up because I'm not looking for trouble, but I mean, this was a nightmare. Really, the only rust on the bottom of this car is the housing of the torque tube. So, and the exhaust pipe. That is really it. I've looked everywhere. I mean, even the bare metal that some of these mounts were held to are in really good shape. So, pretty pumped. Definitely by tomorrow, because I've got a lot more time to play with this tomorrow, I will have that off. So in case anyone was wondering, in case anyone has an automatic, I don't know, that belongs in there, I guess. It's shredded, and yeah, fit just like that. These tabs hit to prongs that are on the flywheel so that you can get home if this happens to you. Was a nightmare. I had to cut through the washer because I couldn't get the lock ring. The lock ring was just rust for whatever reason. It was the only part of it that was rusted, of course. Couldn't get off, so I had to use a I don't know, some type of little saw deal that just goes back and forth really fast. I was able to wedge that up in there and just cut and rotate and cut and rotate until the washer just fell apart. And got that off. I have to get the starter ring off this. I know you just got to heat it up, then it'll pop off. The infamous bell housing. Oh yeah, if you're doing this and you get to this point and you get that lock washer or that C-clip off, like it works for you, and you still can't get this thing to come off, don't forget that guy. You can't have two different many ways to secure this. So Porsche put in this locking deal here. I didn't find that out until I already had I was pulling and pulling and pulling on it with a steering wheel puller or a bearing puller, and I just happened to see that. So I'm an idiot, but there's literally nothing online about the automatics because there's so few of them. But over here, my garage is a mess right now. Over here, you'll see what we're getting ready to do. So, got a flywheel from a dude, or a pressure plate, flywheel. So I need a new starter ring on the pressure plate. This is really smooth, so I'm just gonna get rid of the rust. And then literally a brand new clutch. I mean, it still has the lettering on it. I don't think this thing's ever been used. 30 bucks. That's what he sold it to me for. So, legend. Yeah, we're gonna get this cleaned up. Pressure plate's gonna go on there. Torque tube will slide into here, and this will just remain engaged. I'm not gonna put a throw-up bearing on it. There's no need because I'm never gonna disengage this, and it is just going to send it. So I have another clutch here, but this is the same thing. So it's got this rubber dampener, and there's the teeth that get you home. But I was concerned that this might go at some point because it's used, and I didn't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to go with this. These are the dampeners, so there'll still be some vibration dampening that's going on in between here. Not a lot, really just on start. But yeah, pumped. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here because it might be a day or two before I get back to this, but I have the flywheel installed, static clutch, brand new Sachs clutch installed, and I'm starting to put this thing back together, so pretty exciting. I have this one broken bolt here on this exhaust coupler that is holding me up. I've been beating on this thing. I've soaked it in penetrating oil. I've tried messing with it from the top. It is fused in there, and luckily I have another stack sitting over there against the wall. So I'm just gonna bash on this with a hammer. I don't really care. I already screwed up the oxygen sensor. But yeah, this is where I'm at for the night. Excited to put this bad boy back in. It'll go in there. I did use a clutch alignment tool, so everything is good to go, and that thing is solid. So I've been spinning the whole engine with it, so it feels pretty good. Making progress.